Oh, honey, let me do the circle. Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. Panel Friday. Yes. I always put panel debate, but a lot of times it could be a panel discussion, right? So it's not like this person versus that person, even though I don't like to have an echo chamber. But tonight, I think I am going to have an echo chamber. I have Consuelo, I have Miz, there's going to be us three. And I'm gonna try something different. I am going to drop the restream link and see if anybody else want to join in the conversation because we need to talk. Because now the anti-FBA, the anti-ADOS hit pieces are starting. Roland Martin is constantly Roland Martin and his cronies. They're constantly calling out FBAs when he do his lives, you know. And there was a hit piece by News One, did a hit piece calling us dumb and yada yada yada. Said FBA and ADOS. So we're gonna go through that. We got to talk about that. Also, Amanda Seales did her thing with the Jubilee. She called herself a black nationalist and she was against 20 other black conservatives. But it is a clip that I want to bring up that's been circulating. It's not the clip from Jubilee, it's from her TikTok when she was really breaking down her background, right? And, I want to mention, I want to dip into a little bit in DC, and how they keep saying black violence, black crime, and they're helping black crime. Oh, really? Okay. And yeah, and we see what the night goes. Before I bring the panel in, off the bat, thank you so much. Did I put the right one? Yes. Thank you so much to Kid for the super chat. I want to start a goal. Brown will host a live Q&A. Call-in show. Okay. So I started a goal. Katalia, Trevor. Trevor, I gotta have you on a panel. So I started a goal, $10 goal, $10 goal or whatever, and the judge will host a live Q&A call-in sometime next week. Probably like most likely on a Monday. Yeah, Monday. On Monday, if I'm reach my goal. So yeah. Woo, they're about to be on FBA next. We got to stand strong. Yeah, I mean, listen. See, don't go to sleep. We voted for the presidency this past November 2024, and a lot of black people crossed the aisle and voted Republican for Trump. Next year in 2026 is the big butt bath. It's the midterms for Congress. That's most important in the presidency. So Texas, they're already a step ahead because, honey, they didn't do no gerrymandering. They just redistricting and cut out. They gained 5 extra seats to represent the state of Texas. Jasmine Crockett may be out of a job. So yeah, and that's going to be going on in other states as well. So the Democrats are in for a fight, and right now they're losing. And so part of their strategy, their tactic, is to attack Black Americans that voted for Trump, that did not vote. I'm for voting. I'm not for not voting. Hashtag FBA, hashtag ADOS. Now they are attacking the Black folk that chose to have a mind of their own. So let me bring the panel in. Hi, Consuelo. Well, I'm gonna say sway me. I'm not gonna say your government name. I can't hear you.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, there you go.
You can call me Sway Me.
But you did put your name, Consuelo. Yeah, you
Yes, I
Consuelo.
did. I'm no
Activist
longer on
period.
X. I've been suspended. So
You have been? You was just in the space on Tuesday.
that's what happens.
Why?
It's
What
my
you
third
do?
time.
What you
So
do? What you do?
because I speak truth and they don't like
What
truth.
did you post? That something
I posted there
got
was
to report.
there was a gentleman coming and speaking, and he was white, and he was telling us that we need to get over slavery. And I said, well, rape is an injury and a harm of slavery. So it's pedophilia, and you see that it's a major societal ill in our society today. And so I guess because I do speak truth and they don't like that I speak that truth, then they reported me and I was suspended.
Oh, how long? Well, you could,
But that's my third time. They censor me all the time. It's nothing new.
but can't you erase the post for them to?
They didn't give me the choice to
So how long
erase
are you
the post.
suspended
They made sure
for?
they suspended me.
How long are you suspended for?
It's suspended. My account is gone. I cannot.
Oh, so you have to create a new account.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God. So you can't get it back.
No. I already appealed. They already said no.
Wow. Oh my
This
God.
is my third time of them doing that to me. Like, I think Arthur of Freeman Nation was suspended. He was able to get his account back, but I've never ever been able to get my accounts back. So,
Wow. Oh
yeah.
my God. So yeah, create another one.
I will, but I mean, it's
You
not
know what?
really
But
that
when
big
you
of a
talk like
deal.
that, you should always have two, your main and your burner, so you could talk a little reckless on the burner.
That's
Not
what everybody says.
yeah.
But yeah, okay.
All right. Well, let me bring in Ms. Ms. It's been a minute.
Yes, it's been a minute. It's been a minute.
You had your wife gave birth to a new baby a couple months ago. Tomorrow is your birthday. You've been working on your projects.
Oh, happy birthday, Mins.
Yes, thank you. You know, I practice what I preach. Shoot.
Yeah.
Practice what I
So
preach.
how many kids you have total now?
This is my fourth.
Oh, is this the last or you still going on?
Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Um,
You ask my wife, is she gonna say something different?
oh, she want more.
No, I want more. She's trying to slow me down. She's trying to slow the black man down, man. But
You want a village.
yeah, I definitely do. I want my village. Got as far as where I can get from everyone else and have more influence on people who can think clearly, which is my kids. I definitely would rather have that. If I can't help y'all, I'm gonna help my family.
Right. I mean, family is first. Family is first. Have to be.
You already know.
So, all right. So, Men's is very relaxed. Usually he have the, the super fly camera with the lights. I'm like, where's that at tonight, man?
It's back there on the green screen.
I get pre-birthday boy relaxed, chilling tonight.
Yep.
All right, so let's get into it. I want to bring up the article because this came to my attention by Tariq Nasheed because he hosts his space midnight LA time, which is 3 a.m. here on the East Coast. What is that noise? That it's like a fuzzy noise. Is that you, Ben? Wait, hold on for a second. Hold on. Yeah, I think it's you, Ben. There's something fuzzy. It wasn't fuzzy before.
I'm on mute, so I don't know. Can you hear it?
Yeah, it was something fuzzy coming out of your audio, Mins. Just do a little adjust. But so Tariq Nasheed, in his space, he was talking about the hit piece article that came out of News One. And I was listening to it today on his upload, and I went to read it, and I'm like, yeah, I gotta talk about this. This could be the topic tonight for tonight's space, right? So this is the article. And I'm just like, wow, I kind of share the same sentiments as Tariq Nasheed to where now the hit pieces, are starting. So FBA, ADOS, and misinformation within the Black community. As we head towards 2026 midterm election, it's important to be discerning about whose information and advice you consume. You could be listening to the wrong people. So I guess anyone that is pro FBA, I know he's definitely talking about Tariq Nasheed, Yvette Carnell, and others. But here's the thing. Why don't y'all just say their names? FBA is not a group. It's not an organization. It is Black Americans who are representing Black American culture. And they are mad because last year there were a lot of people, I guess, saying don't vote because it doesn't matter. I always say it is important to vote. You have to vote. Locally is most important, state level is most important, and also the federal level. So I would never discourage anybody to not vote, even if you have to write your name in that ballot. But do your research on the candidates. But there were people saying they're going to sit it out on the couch, blah blah blah. And so this person, we're going to get to who he is later. But they start off talking about what's going on in DC, of course, blaming Trump. And then as you go further down into the article, they get to the Foundation of Black Americans and ADOS folks. If you're reading this, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with this crowd. Yes, I know that they're technically two different groups under two different leaders, but I don't particularly care about their particulars or their leaders. Their ideology of xenophobia, fetishization of ancestry and lineage, and distractions that they use to divide Black people based upon whether or not one's ancestry is tied to slavery is white supremacist dream. Wow. It's almost as if the long-serving FBI chief, J. Edgar Hoover, arose from the dead, sent a COINTELPRO 2.0 battle plan to a group of gullible Black folks, and then unleashed a torrent of flag-bearing, hashtag and meme-loving, xenophobic Black social media accounts on the Black community, and then watch the magic happen. Now they're saying stop the fake news, but I'm looking at them, the Roland Martins, the News Ones, and all these other Democrat shells and liberals, Black liberals. I'm telling them to stop the fake news. So why does this matter? It's matter because information, particularly in the Black community, is golden of the groups in this country. This is not FBA and ADOS. So what is it? Whether it's Black news, Black TikTok to tell our stories, and its inherent trust that all actors is spreading information are working in our best. They're saying that FBA and ADOS is not. So they also going to say before last year's election, there were two groups did their best to spread as much misinformation about the candidate Harris. No, we did not. She is not Black. In a barely mass effort to embrace the talking points of the Trump administration, they challenged whether Harris was a Black woman, just as Trump did at the National Association of Black Journalists. They degenerated her as a cop, ignoring the fact that the Black community needs both criminal justice attorneys and criminal prosecutors making decisions about Black people in the judicial system. And most egregious of all, they, as a tactic, voter suppression tactic, urge Black folks not to vote. I've never heard Tariq Nasheed or Yvette Carnell tell people not to vote, because they're referring to those two people as the so-called leaders of FBA and ADOS, because they created a term. ADOS is an organization, and I do support ADOS as well. I don't always necessarily agree, I don't always necessarily agree with Tariq Nasheed, but overall, I support both. All because they claim not to be able to see the difference between a small Democratic candidate and a white supremacist, white nationalist, fascist, criminal president. And I guess they're talking about Trump. Now, as the military sweeps through DC, and there are GOP politicians openly talking about bringing the same situation to other Black cities and neighborhoods, these chaos agents, that's what they're calling us, chaos agents, suddenly have discovered that when a Black community is under martial law, that the state doesn't care about whether or not your people have lived in this country since the Mayflower or just arrived from Kingston. Yes, we do. They're scrambling to create social media discussions on X and other platforms where they're now shocked that white supremacists they said was the same as the lovely Black lady who just wanted to give them housing credits, protect their civil rights, and maybe, just maybe, not be crazy as doing crazy white supremacist things. This whole thing here, he sounds crazy. they're learning that adopting a navity uh, nativist nationalist ideology of blood and soil doesn't include them in the blood or the soil, all because the mouths of the monster don't care if you're a xenophobic as they are with their diaspora wars. He's still going to go into National African American Museum and strip you of your history. Know why? To paraphrase Malcolm X, they don't hang you because you're from America, Canada, Ghana, Trinidad. They hang you because you're black. Oh my God. But it's too late now for ADOS and FBA folks. They can run under the banner of lineage, put yet another American flag on their profiles, and think that their tactics of black division are going to somehow result in reparations for black Americans. Still, most black people realize at this point that they're fools, discredited fools. To combat the assault on Washington, D.C., Black community and the Black community succumb, whether as a provocation to justify incarcerating more Black people through police contact or voter suppression during the midterms, with the military acting as an intimidation force. FBA and ADOS aren't to be trusted as a movement because they went bankrupt as a philosophy when they couldn't see, identify, or strategize against the threat that to an intelligent group like the majority of black voters was there to face. Ultimately, the actions of Donald are his responsibilities. He's the arsonist carrying the gasoline in Washington, D.C., and he's responsible for the fire that he creates. But FBA, ADOS folks were determined to tell Black folks living in D.C. and throughout the country that the firefighter and the arsonist were the same. And for that point alone, you shouldn't listen to a single word that they say again, because elections have consequences, yada, yada, yada. Do we care? No, because everything he said in there was misinformation, fake news, lies, and they're mad because we're no longer voting Democrat and their girl didn't win. And she's not black. So it's like you still have this delusion that this woman is black. So who wants to go first?
I'll let Consuelo go. Consuelo, you should go first.
Oh, okay. So, first of all, I want to say, is this an immigrant that is writing in this article and cosplaying as a
No.
Black American? Okay. No. Okay. Well, just the fact that for us, he doesn't use Freedman, right? They want to use these synonyms, but you notice they still will not use the terminology Freedman, which covers everyone. And these hit pieces, misinformation. We know that Harvard did a hit piece on ADOS and misinformation. In 2022, 2023, come to find out they had to retract it because they were actually putting out misinformation about ADOS. So that's round one. We won that one, right? And now here we are because they know we're gaining more traction within the community. We are getting more people involved. More people are listening to the truth of the matter. And you know what? This division that they keep talking about, Jamaicans, Trinidadians, whomever have always been raising their flag on this soil. So who's divisive? And this is the thing that I want to make sure people understand. Race was created as a harm and an injury to the freedmen. Now we have immigrants coming here utilizing race and aligning with the harm, right? And now saying, oh, we are black too. No, you're not. You can't be black in America, especially when you come to America and then you learn about race and you've never ever experienced blackness in anywhere else but America. And then it's because of the black people that have been here and foundation to the country. So this belief that somehow we standing in our lineage and being Americans and patriots of our land is a problem for black people because immigrants are here. No. Immigrants should be acquiescing and capitulating to us, not us acquiescing and coalescing and capitulating to immigrants. So that's where I'm at with it. I read it over and I said, it ain't nothing. That means we're doing a good job, and it just motivates me to continue to continue the movement and do the work. So that's where I'm at.
Well, this is one of many to come. And like I said, midterms, and he put midterms a couple of times in this article, midterms in next year. So they're gearing up to try to demise, belittle, and label us as agents, basically. Again, probably going back to that Russian bot mess, right? Because they're starting now, and this is the time to start with the BS. So because we have a whole year and 3 months or 2 months until the midterms, so this is just one of many to come. And I want to go to this to who he this is what he looks like. Lawrence Ross, right? He is the author of Divine Nine, The History of African American Fraternities and Sororities, and Blackball, The Black and White Politics of Race on American Campuses. He is also founder of the Metasphere Club, new social media platform that emphasizes community, selfishness, and authentic relationship. He lives in Los Angeles with his wife, right? But again, I don't know, too much of his background as where,
But Dana, the fact that he's in LA.
well, he was born in LA.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I
we
know
know
his
what's
background.
happening in California. But anyway, go ahead, Mins.
Yeah, I know his background very well. Actually, that was the first book I've read, or at least the first assignment I had when I was joining Alpha Phi for Fraternity Incorporated was to read Divine Nine by Lawrence C. Ross. He's actually a freedman, and um, you know did a very good comprehensive book on D9 and so forth. The thing is that he was born in like the 60s. You know what I'm saying? So he's at that age. And as we know, people who are conditioned to think a certain way, I'm not saying all, but majority of them are the ones that are like stone cold Democrats and so forth. They're sold. And in his ideology and everything, in my opinion, his role in opening the doors to everyone, I don't think that he truly sees the problem, letting everyone participate in something that's is like literally a part of our heritage, our history, such as Greek life on our campuses, the original reason why it was started. So now when we're talking about this situation where he wrote this article, they dug him out the grave. They dug him out the grave, and there's going to be some other people that come out that are recognized as like these greats in our community that they're going to get to come out and speak because they're not aware, they're not in this particular realm of thinking. Like this is more of a younger, modern hemisphere, where you have the people mid-age and people very young who make up the bulk of the voices. So now they're trying to get like basically our fathers out here to spank us and say, hey, this is not what you're supposed to go in, this is not the right direction and so forth. But no, you already have forfeited that because you had your chance to make your decisions, you had your chance to go the direction you wanted. That's the results you got, and the results that you got is what we're dealing with. So what really was astounding is that he compared, he said this was like this was COINTELPRO, Counterintelligence Program 2.0. But really, his position is Counterintelligence Program 2.0. To convince people to continuously vote the same way, yielding the same results that we've been yielding, which have been detrimental to our community. and not to call out what has been what they didn't call out, what they were not speaking loud about, which was the problem with immigration policy, because that's what it really started off with. See, I was around in the late 2000, early 2000, what was it, 2019, 2018, when they were upset about the website that ADOS had. And the fact that he actually uses these two things, these two groups, and he says ADOS and FBA, and then he puts a leader at the top of it, as if we all share the same insight or same opinions as Tariq Nasheed or Yvette Cornell, is furthermore counterintelligence program, because they're trying to paint the picture as these two people are the leaders of these movements, and they aren't. As a matter of fact, Tariq Nasheed himself will tell you he's not. He's not the leader of FBA. FBA is an acronym, Foundational Black American. ADOS is an acronym, American Descendants of Chattel Slavery. She's not the first person to use ADOS. And this can go back all the way to Martin Luther King, but then you also have as late as Norris Sheldon. So the fact that like they're trying to put this on people is counterintelligence program stuff. The fact they're trying to keep us aligned with the same party that's trying to keep us as a fixed underclass that literally benefited every other group of people since they came into power by the black vote, which happened around immigration and integration, which is around the 1960s, right? 1960s and 70s and 80s and so forth, is counterintelligence program. So in other words, they don't want free thought. They don't want people to think outside of the confinement of the Democratic Party. They want us to believe everything the Democratic Party pitches to us, even if they don't deliver. Well, excuse me, even when they don't deliver, because they haven't delivered. And this is their backlash. Then you have him talking about Trump and racism. But what about the Democratic Party and their racism? They have literally used race. They use race. When you use race, it's racist. They've used race. You have Biden say, if you don't vote for me, you're not black, right? You have Kamala literally switch, you know what I'm saying? And when she started running, talk about she's black, but during her time, as far as vice president prior, she literally said she would not do nothing for black people, and she was out there arresting black people. That's not a lie. That's not hearsay. So if you really want to talk about counterintelligence program tactics, it's to keep people that have been harmed under the party and within the scope of voting only for people who continue to perpetuate the same harms, which is restriction of liberties, limitation in programs and financing and funding and funneling money, misappropriation of money, and benign neglect, pure benign neglect to address everything that's been done, especially what Biden did. Twice, 1986 and 1994.
Right. You want to add on to that, Consuelo? Because then I'm going to show, I'm sure, a Roland Martin clip.
Yes, just the fact that the Democratic Party has been leading racism in America, right? From the very beginning, they are making sure that it is implemented. So yes, I agree with Men's. Right now, we are on a elevation, a different thought process, right? And we are removing ourselves from the Democratic Party. And as you all know, I want to demolish them. I want them to ride off into the sunset and never ever win another election. I want them prosecuted for the corruption that they've been implementing for the last 60 years, at least in the last 4 years. We know we got all kinds of evidence that they are corrupt. So the fact of the matter now, they're coming after their majority of voters that said, you know what, we're not aligning with a lot of your values and your beliefs. I mean, you're pushing pedophilia, you're pushing human trafficking, you're pushing all of these negative societal ills, and then saying that you want us to vote. After we voted for you, we still received nothing, and everything went to the illegals. So they have to be punished. They have to receive some backlash from us, and that is, hey, let's demolish them. Let them go right off into the sunset, because you know what? You've done nothing to elevate this country, advance it, and especially the Americans, right? So that's where I'm at. I agree with everything Men said.
Yeah, well said, both of y'all. I want to play this clip, right? Roland Martin, honey, because lately he's been having FBA all in his mouth as well. And guys, I'm going to drop the link if you want to join. And if you do join, just make sure that you have good lighting. You don't have to, well, you don't have to show your face. That's the thing. If you want to show your face, have good lighting. You don't have to show your face, and just make sure you have good audio, nothing playing in the background. So I'm going to start here. And thank you, Jupiter, for sending me this clip.
Can't play around with the vote, because these people they're showing when they get power and absolute power, they will wield it in an evil way.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said something, Roland. You've been saying Texas, but you've also been saying national. People do not need to be fooled and think that what's happening in Texas is only about Texas. This is about control of the federal government, not Texas state government. Republicans already have that control, even though most of their voters are a minority of that state. What I mean by that, this is information that Vasut should know, even though he said himself in that redistricting hearing when it first started back in July that he was not aware that Texas had become a majority minority state. And that is because he has not looked at the census data. And I think Texas and other southern states like North Carolina, where I live, all are aware that this is the only way they can win. I think the difference, what I'm seeing right now, though, is how out loud these people are with cheating. We've seen them cheat before, counting grains of sugar, grandfather clause. We've seen them cheat before behind the cloak of it's equal if anybody can count the grains of sugar, even though we know only certain people had to count those grains. But right now they're cheating out loud in front of cameras. This representative, Todd Hunter, just said out loud that Butler Snow was his law firm. Everybody and their mama should be upset about that. Butler Snow is the same law firm that a federal judge kicked some of their lawyers, all of their lawyers, off a case because they made up their own citations for an AI crime. These are the people this Bama right here just said that. He just named Butler Snow. So we should all be looking at whatever information that Butler Snow produced, because it's probably fraud, because they have that type of history. They also are the same firm that created a super PAC back in 2008, Roland, to help Republicans, 2002 to help Republicans in Georgia. So this is not, these are white supremacists working with other white supremacists in different aspects of social life. And then the representative just said something that's telling, and it might get missed if people are not paying attention. She said Charles is a Republican. She said Katrina is a Republican. We're talking about two black Republicans. What she didn't say was that they are black too. And she said they're standing with Republicans. So how can you be black and stand with Republicans when you know the harm will hurt your community?
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meat based
into white supremacy.
This is the article that Mondale is referring to. A judge disqualifies 3 Butler Snow attorneys from case over AI citations. That took place just last month. Robert, what I keep getting to, and we hammer this and we hammer this and we hammer this. This is why we were telling people to stop listening to these dumbasses running their mouth on YouTube, telling black people not to vote, saying that Kamala was the same as Donald Trump, because we saw this. We saw this coming. We knew what was coming. We understood what happens when they take control of these state legislatures. What happens when we don't vote. I mean, again, in North Carolina, had Sherry Beasley gotten 402 votes, she would have been re-elected Chief Justice of the North Carolina Supreme Court. Democrats would have had a 6-1 advantage on the Supreme Court. Instead, the white guy who was mad that he didn't get appointed ran against her, beat her. Democrats went down 4-3 in North Carolina. Next election, a candidate, he decides to run for another office, doesn't even win that one. They lose. Republicans then all of a sudden, now they have a 5-2 advantage. They want to take out Anita Earls next year in North Carolina because there are 3 Republican seats that are up in 2028. We saw what happened in Wisconsin when Democrats won that seat, got a 4-3 majority. And what did they do? Boom, they rule unconstitutional partisan gerrymandering. They allow drop boxes to come back. And so for the dumbasses, Robert, who love talking about, oh my goodness, you shilling for the Democrats, shilling for the Democrats, here's a reality. More likely than not, if you have a Democratic opponent, U.S. Supreme Court or state Supreme Court, you're likely going to have fair maps, no racial gerrymandering, ending partisan gerrymandering, and you're going to have greater access to the ballot box. That ain't white, that ain't black, that ain't Republican, Democrat. That's a fact. And so if I care about our people voting, there's no way in hell, Robert, I'm going to consider voting for a party or an individual that reps a party that wants to keep my people from voting.
All right. So let's dissect that. Because some of that was just, again, FBA and y'all YouTube, social media fools. Hi, Jupiter. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me, right?
Yes.
Well, you know what? He was talking about y'all today, so I'm gonna probably send another video. But he was on Ricky Smiley today. I was listening to Demetria K, and he had something to say. He was saying something to the what's going on in the landscape, and to the guy on the red shirt, he kind of eloquated it beautifully. So, it's a new political landscape. So gone are the days. Right now, they're doing a smear campaign right now. And I used to work in the U.S. Army. Right now, retired with psychological warfare and all that stuff. It's the same influence. So right now, they're doing a smear campaign to divide, undermine, and basically gaslight and just misdirect here and there, because they see now it's a whole new landscape. Gone are the days of these Democrat shills having an influence now, using the same methodology that they used in the Marxists back in the 60s of influencing, spreading that Democrat BS jive, especially with these old civil rights generation fools and all that stuff. It's a new day. We have the age of information now, and information is key right now. You can't. It's like most of us who was raised in church, and saying that same bubblegum lies, do this. If you don't do this, you're going to be other. So now we have information, and I think the world is getting smaller now, and they have no relevance. So, and I will land my plane with this: Roly Poly is still just a Democrat show. Out of that whole rant, he didn't say nothing about economics. Didn't say nothing about what's going to help the black family. It didn't say nothing at all. All it is just voting. Voting is it's. Let me tell you, voting. It's a theatric. That's all it is. At the end of the day, you still need infrastructure. You still need economics. You still need this. And the Democratic Party ain't been doing that. Our replacement is the illegals that came in over the fence during the past 4 years. And I'll just touch it on that right there. You guys can piggyback off of what I said.
He's a Democratic shill, and everything he said is backwards. First of all, if black people continue to vote Democrat, the only people that will have any power are not black Americans and people with money, because they'll be able to use, obviously use their dollars. It's great, and as you know, the super PACs and the PACs, right? That's literally what will control the influence. And who of those are black people? Who of those actually represent black people? Which PAC, super PAC represents black people, right? So to continuously vote Democrat is literally driving us back into the days where we're only 1/3 of a vote. That's literally what it is. And he claims that he's not a Democratic show. You tried to sell us on Biden. When Biden flopped in front of us, you tried to sell us on a last-minute pitching of Kamala, who literally had 4 years. People say she wasn't a president. She was the vice president. That is literally another important position. Look at what the president who was president when she was vice president did when he was vice president. Are we forgetting what he did with Bill Clinton? Look at what he did. Are we forgetting that?
Right.
So it's just ridiculous that they think that. First of all, let me tell you something else. The one thing I've always disagreed with Tariq Nasheed was when his particular position, but he never told nobody else to not vote. He said that he was going to vote for the couch. He never told anybody. First of all, that's not even a narrative that's ran around. Again, Tariq Nasheed is not a leader of FBA. FBA
No,
is just another term
it's a lineage.
that emulates the greatness of being Black American. We're not just Black American. We're foundational Black
Yes.
American. That's really all it is. And ADOS is literally something that was was put in the hat to be used as a way to specify a specific group that was harmed because racially blackness was not going to qualify. Number one, number two, it does not disaggregate the data. So that's what ADOS was brought back in, by Yvette Cornell and Antonio Moore. But prior to that, let's not forget Nora Sheldon, and let's not forget that it was a term that was used before. What they're upset about is that the conversation of reparations has garnered more political activism in conversations, and they're seeing that people may think that 5% and that 5 to 15% towards the Republican Party was not significant. People may think that, but real analysts know that there's something called trends, right?
Yeah.
So what they're trying to do is disrupt the potential growth. Because right now it starts to look, it went from less than a few percentage to this much percentage, and in 4 years it's going to be this much percentage. We got to stop this. Where's this coming from? Where's this erupting at? And that is social media.
Right.
That's social media. So
But here's the thing though, because no, it's FBA is not an organization. Tariq Nasheed is not a leader of FBA or anything like that. But there were people holding spaces outside of Tariq Nasheed that was saying the couch. I think Tariq Nasheed did vote. We don't know or whatever, but there were other people saying, I'm gonna vote for the couch. Honestly, I disagree with that. You're voting for the couch. Well, what about where you live at locally? Because even Yvette Carnell was just like, look at down the ballot and see who's voting where you live at, because that is more important, because that's going to affect you first. I would never encourage anybody to vote for the couch, but if someone chooses not to vote, that is still their right. You have a right to vote or not. And so Roland Martin, but see, and Roland Martin always talk about they're trying to take our voting rights away. No, they are not. Trump, the Republicans know what they're trying to do is make sure that nobody isn't cheating. So yes, I am for voter ID. I am against mail-in ballots.
And my friend said he used to work at somewhere in Denver. He's like, yeah, ballot harvesting is real, but the whole notion is voting the couch. It was something that scared them because it was like their first time this new generation or new landscape saying no. We're going to vote for a tangible. Like, you're just not going to come to me saying, oh, vote because your ancestors. That same played out mess is over with. Now I know their handlers from the DNC give them this script and whatever that is and say, hey, go to the masses. It's coming back right now. It's pretty much like, and going back to democracy, even Plato warned democracy it's bad after a while because you are not the majority after a while. The republic is a falsehood. So, and I'll land my plane with this. We are saying no, and it's like no. Done with the Democratic Party, and with the whole redistricting, it takes their power away, especially the CBC or Congressional Black Caucus, because they won't have no power anymore, and they're useless anyway. So good, get rid of them.
Right. I appreciate you coming up, Jupiter. If you can hang out a little bit longer,
I will.
The rest of this clip is about only 3 more minutes.
Go ahead. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Look, Roland, one of the things I think people need to remember is this was all written down before the election. None of this is new information.
Yep.
All of this, every single page of this is in Project 2025. I have to walk past military Humvees and MRAPs on my way to and from work every day. That is page 555 of Project 2025, the third paragraph down. Taking over state elections, redistricting. That's like 3 chapters into Project 2025. If you want to know what's going to happen next, just read the rest of the damn thing they put out and told you they were going to do. Nothing is new, nothing is surprising. And they didn't even try to trick you. They just knew that if you want to hide something from black folks, put it in a book and then send out some rappers and some entertainers to keep their attention away. Where are all those people who were talking about Kamala wasn't black enough? Where are all those folks at? Where are all those people who said they voted for Trump because Haitians were eating all the dogs and cats, and that's why it was important for them to support real foundational black Americans and ADOS and all that stuff? Where are those people at right now? Well, we are going to lose the right to vote for potentially a generation, because realize this is just a continuation. They're chipping away at the voting rights Act of 1965, turning into basically a dormant law, meaning it's still on the books. They didn't overturn it. It just has absolutely no meaning, no power, and no impact going forward. At this point in time, we can only, in the most vague sense, call ourselves a democracy, because we literally have openly politicians picking their voters as if it's a raffle or a rally, or they're on the pickup basketball court. They're saying, I want those voters over there, because they will keep me in power. We're not in a representative democracy where the people come together, and if you want more people to vote for you, put policies in place that will get more people to vote for you. You simply draw a line and cut out the people who don't support you. So we need to hold these folks to account and help them to understand, come 2026, the reason they are running scared is if Democrats get control of the House of Representatives, that means on day one, articles of impeachment get filed against Donald Trump. That means on day one, you're going to change the chairmanships over so you can have actual oversight hearings where you can actually pull these people in. You can actually have an understanding of just how deep the Trump corruption goes. On day one, you can start, if you take the Senate, being able to defer these Trump nominees, pushing through new budget items, and getting ready to win back the White House in 2028. Donald Trump understands the entirety of his presidency hinges on maintaining power in 2026. The only way you make these changes he's made permanent is by them maintaining the House and getting a bigger majority in the Senate in the next election. And we need to hold these folks accountable. And we need to come together and realize that if you support tanks in the streets of DC, they'll be in a city near you soon if they win in 2026.
All right. So let me say this. They need to be in the street near us soon, because Chicago is a mess, and a lot of people in Chicago are asking for the National Guard to come in. But he keeps talking about the voting rights, being watered down, and so forth. And here's the thing, the Democrats, and he's mentioning, of course, we know if the Democrats control Congress, the first thing they're going to do is impeach Trump. What the fuck are you going to impeach him on? You have to have a reason. They don't have a reason. And this is the problem with the Democrats. This is why they lost the election. This is why they lost Congress, because they keep playing in people's faces. The Democrats chose illegals over their constituents. They chose illegals and immigrants over their own constituents, especially the illegals. When they did that, allowing 20 plus million illegals to cross that border within the 4 years under Biden, they lost the black vote. They did. Wait 1 second, miss, because I want to go to I want Consuelo to get a piece on this, and then I want to play the Amanda Seals video. But they did this to themselves. And if you heard him, another thing, the 2025 book or whatever, a lot of black people agree with what was in that 2025 project. But when he said what the Democrats are going to do if they control Congress is impeach Trump and some other BS, they don't even have a plan or any real policy. So, Consuelo, you want to say anything on it?
Yeah, these people are literally taking their playbook and saying that we are implementing it, or that the Trump administration is implementing it. That is not true. We're seeing it play out right now, that they are grasping for straws. I love the comments from the audience, because they are grasping at straws at this point in time. They know that the Black Americans are changing, and we're not going along with their BS. Nothing has changed in our communities. We've regressed. And then you have all of these illegals coming in and receiving our basic needs: food, shelter, and housing. And you now want to tell us that there's something wrong with us supporting Trump administration because they're Americans first. And he is implementing policies that take care of Americans. Doesn't have to do anything with race. You're American, you're benefiting, right? So this propaganda, I love it that you were being able to say, hey, it's really psyops because they're taking their whole plan that they've been implementing and now pushing it out on us as if, or the Trump administration, as if that's what they're doing. But that's not true. We know, we have evidence that the Democrats did these things, right? If we're living in the reality of the real world, then we know the Democrats are our enemy, and we need to again demolish them. Yeah.
And guys, please hit the like button and please share this video on all your social media outlets. And I did pin the link if you want to hop in. You don't have to show your face, just have good audio. All right. Anybody else want to say anything before I go to this next clip?
Other than that, go ahead, sir. Go ahead. You could say something.
Oh no, you go. I'll come. I'll go after. I got you, man.
Other than that, like the young lady said, right now it's the last grasp straw with their little smear fear campaign, and it's just like it's that mess doesn't work anymore, especially in the side where they don't have the influence anymore. It's like it's a new day and age now that you got mouthpieces like. Even though I don't agree with Tariq and sometimes even with Phil Scott, but it's independent thought, and you can still do your own deductive reasoning and research and call these guys out. And like I said, right now, the shills like Bowley Poley, and you even got this new guy, the defiant lawyer right now, some old Democratic shill.
Yeah.
Oh God. But anyway,
I don't want to waste my time reacting to any of his things because I don't know. It's just something about him. I don't know.
But anyway, I'll land my plane. Look, they don't have the influence anymore, and it's a new day. And I'm a conservative, but I do sometimes vote Republican, but the Democratic Party has not done nothing for the Black community at all. You can say all these voting rights and all these little progressive things. It's basically done nothing but a liberalism bash. And you say all these HBCUs and all that, but look at the status of America as a whole. Black community, we are behind. And these immigrants, as soon as they get set up, they're going to create their own infrastructure, their own city, their own area, and they're going to push us out. It's pretty much going to be like this. For us to coexist, they're going to either breed us out or move us out. And that's basically what's about to happen. And all thanks to those Democratic shills that got us here right now, even the civil rights generation. And I'll land my plane.
Yeah. The crazy part is that they think that voting Democrat has led to any level of benefits and everything, and it goes against our own rationale as a people. The three reasons I recall that massive people, and I was here since day one, speaking on this in politics, and Consuelo was around as well. When this was emerging on social media platforms and everything, in regard to ADOS, FBA, and Friedman. FBA wasn't even a conversation at that time. That wasn't even being used. And when Trump first ran, and then you had other folk. You had Biden. The big conversation was that people were going to vote Republican for one of three reasons. One, it was, which is my reason, a rebellious vote. At all else, if there wasn't any reason to vote for a Republican, right? Because I'm policy over party. I've always been policy over party. But it was as a rebellious vote to say that I'd rather vote for whatever you consider your opposition, right? Whatever is not that's gonna be against you winning, I'm willing to vote in that direction because I want to make a stance. And so you look at these stats, and I'll be one of these people, part of the stats, to say, hey, what happened? Why did all these people switch over? Number two, I think that the second reason, this vote for first of all, let me just get this out the way. Voting for the couch is a very powerful strategy when it's used strategically, obviously, right? It's a tactic that's really great when it's used strategically. But right now, there's no benefit of you voting for the couch when one party is hell-bent on bringing your communities, a large
Your
part.
your microphone is popping a little bit.
Is it? Okay, what about now? Is it popping now?
No, go ahead.
All right. So when a party's hell bent on bringing in an entire population and dumping them into your communities, right? Vote for the couch is never the proper way to react to that, because those same people that they're bringing in, they're trying to also give privileges to also participate in elections, let alone in candidacy, which is what we witnessed. Biden
It's
tried
still
to.
popping.
Is it? Is it popping for you, Consuelo?
Speak again. I thought I heard.
Hello,
It's
hello,
popping
hello.
just a little bit. Hey, we hear you.
Okay.
All right, I don't have no clue why it's popping, but
That's good. I don't know.
all
Maybe
right,
it's here and there.
okay. So it's not a benefit and it's not a good strategy to vote for the couch when you have people replacing your voting power. It's already too late for that. That should have been used to keep the stronghold 30, 40 years ago, when they was going in the wrong direction. The second reason was because of certain policies that Trump did have, which was to limit the amount of power the immigrants had in this country. The Democratic Party's always supported the Democratic Party. The Democrats have always been the party for immigrants. That's always how it's been, and the Republicans always turned around and utilized their policies for their benefit. And the third reason that people voted for Trump was because of the position that he had with immigration, and that sounds like the second reason. But he also had the bill. What was it called? Not the 10-point plan. He also had the platinum plan, which is more than what Obama could say he did. When
Well,
Obama,
he don't have it. He doesn't have it this term because he didn't need it. He didn't.
but
And then black people.
Did I lose you, Dana? I can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can't.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
sorry about that. I'm just talking. I I was saying that what was I saying
The
about?
platinum plan.
Yeah,
He didn't have it.
we didn't have it. We don't have anything now that's similar to a platinum plan because he doesn't have to give us anything. But there's not a black person coming in, or organization or a group or even a politician saying, hey, this is a black agenda. And so when you look at Trump's agenda, he's doing one America, merit, he doesn't see gender, he doesn't see race, just one America. And that way, to avoid a platinum plan for this term, for his second term, or anything specific for Hispanics, because he's, deporting a lot of illegals, or anything for the Asians. It's just one America, like we're all under one umbrella. And I kind of have a feeling that we kind of missed the wave of getting anything done specifically for our group now, because that should have been taking place when he was president the first term, when he was trying to reach out. And that's another problem that I have, is that just because you are a Democrat, or just because you may support Kamala or Biden, it doesn't matter who's in that office. You have to be willing to come to the table and work with who wins. But the Democrats try and have put in black people heads, and Democrats period, but especially black people heads, that if it's not a Democrat in the office, then your job is just to complain and push back. That's not what we need to be doing. Whoever wins, you still need to do business with them. You still
Well,
need to do politics.
well,
I just wanted to
that
say
goes to
this.
show you. Oh, I'm sorry.
It
Go
was
ahead, Mary.
DEI, and my last, the final point I was making, the third point, was his position on DEI. We can't forget about that. What did DEI do for Black Americans? How was it pitched? Who took advantage of it? Same democratic cycle with like what they did with affirmative action, but this time more focused on immigrants. And we're not just talking about Black immigrants. When I say immigrants, I'm talking about the white immigrants as well.
Right. So I wanna switch gears a little bit, and I want to play this Amanda Sills, and I have like another clip as well. All right.
African Americans aren't African, we're Indian. Good. You go ahead and believe that. I guess the Africans in the Caribbean and Brazil, they're the only ones who are Africans, but not the ones in the US. Sound dumb as hell. Aren't I West Indian? My mother is. My father is not. My father is the descendant of chattel slaves in the United States. Why the fuck do we have to keep going over this? Do y'all lack the capacity to understand that people are multidimensional? That is how we became people, bros. Do you know that the original peoples, there was only like 10,000 of them, and they was all intermingling, and that's how shit expands? Hello? Hello? No, I am not West Indian. I am Caribbean. The Spanish genocided the Carib and Arawaks. The Carib and Arawak Indians of the Caribbean. Okay? And thus, I am the descendant of those who came after that. I am not the descendant of a genocided people. You see how that's not possible? You see how that's not possible? My mother's side, in the Caribbean, I am not indigenous. I am the result of chattel slavery and colonialism. Yeah. Yeah. I know, it's crazy. And on my daddy's side, I am the result of chattel slavery and colonialism. Now, there may be some Native American in there, but it's not enough. And this consistent necessity to disassociate, I don't know, there's like this weird obsession with like talking about what we were more than talking about where we are. Does that make sense?
Yes
I don't
and
even know
no.
what I don't even know what the French toast she was talking about, and I'm not even going to entertain it.
Amanda Sills get a lot of flack because she posts, she always put the, I think it's Grenada flag like on her profile. And that's her business because that's her mother background. Her father is what we would consider FBA or freedman. But she represents, her mother's side more because, and I understand that her mother's the one that raised her, not her father, but she's a mixture of both. Like my son, his father lineage is Jamaican, and I'm, foundational Black American. So you do have kids that have both, and that's fine. And I think she get a lot of slack because they always trying to put tether on her, but she's smart and she does not look down on Black Americans. She knows Black American history and American history very well. She has her own political viewpoints that don't align with all Black people, and that's fine because we are not a monolith. But she does get a lot of flack. I don't know. What do you guys think?
She used to speak against Black Americans. She got lined up. You probably don't. You probably weren't around at this time, but she was very hell bent, and she spoke very boldly against Black Americans.
Yes.
And she was at one point speaking on reparations, speaking against reparations.
Yeah.
So now, but now she sees what we're talking about. No, I'm gonna tell you what it really is. I think she's always seen what we were talking about. I think that this is nothing but to rescue her platform, because now she's speaking totally different than what she was before. And before, she never acknowledged anything about her was Black American. She's always acknowledged the Caribbean background that she has. She never spoke anything about Black Americans. She just now started doing that. So I'm not fooled. I'm not fooled because we're seeing this not just from her. We're also seeing this. You know who she's the opposite of? Candace Owens. She is the Democratic version of Candace Owens. And that's exactly what they're both doing. Now they're both switching up because that train that they were riding for so long is no longer carrying any benefits with it, right? It ain't going to the
But
right
okay, but
destination no
can
more.
I hear you, Vince? But can a person can evolve? People evolve. People minds change. People ideology changes. People educate themselves. So people can change.
But I would say it like this, Dana. Look, people can change, but a tiger, you could paint it you could paint it orange, but you know those black stripes are there somewhere, and you got to be mindful. Even Tariq said something. First things first, I'm not a Amanda Seals fan because I love to hate the guy. God rest his soul. When she said something about Kevin Samuels, I was like, no. She would go against any Black American, especially foundational Black American. Amanda, even Tariq said, you got to be careful with these people because they will co-sign, they will say the exact same derivatives that we're saying right now, but redefine it and re-innovate it as their own to kind of flip it. And it's like being a chameleon, and you're noticing that with especially with roly poly and all these little Democratic shills, they're kind of taking the same little words and little Darvo language here and there. Just so what? And making it their own to try to use it against us. So you got to be careful with, especially in Amanda Seals and stuff like that. But go ahead to the young man in the red.
Inconsistency, and that's like a number one
Liz,
red flag.
I'm gonna take that microphone and choke you with it. I swear to God.
It's really is.
Yeah, I can hear it.
It's just popping, and it's this. But see, Miz, this is his birthday weekend, so he's chilling. It's any other time I see him on panels, honey, the lights. He got the professional production lights, and it's like this. I don't know the whole background, the cameras, the shirts and the audio be crisp. But I get the janky. No, I get the laid back birthday boy wife making me a steak. I'm chilling on my birthday weekend.
Well, my birthday was on the 15th of this month. You ain't say happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Jupiter. Happy birthday.
What about the
Shout out
young
to
lady? What is her point?
Well, yes, I agree with both Men's and Jupiter. In the past, she has stated all these things against Black Americans. She never ever said she was part Black American, but I want people to take notice that this is a problem, right? With the admixtures, with the new bi-ethnics and new arrivals, they are not consistent. They have no allegiance. Especially if they have a Caribbean side. We've seen it and we continuously see it. So, I brought it up and people are very unhappy with my statements about certain beings cannot be cannot be freedmen. You're not whole. You're not, and it shows in their actions and their behaviors.
Well, I don't. She's part Freedman, but the fact is that even if you're part, I always say you get 2 reparation checks, CARICOM and a 1 here if we ever get it here. But if you could always be an ally. Like, yes, you are. She's not even African American, but she will be Black. She is a Black American. And if you are not ignorant to the fact of Black culture, Black history, American history, it's nothing wrong with being in solidarity. I would never push someone away because of their background is not matching.
Well, we have to, because that's the infiltration. If you know history and you read history, a great deal of societies and ethnic groups were ethnocided or genocided because you did have where the conquerors came in and mixed with the people, and then their offspring were the ones that they put into power, or the ones that were catapulted into power.
Well, we have found foundational, what we will consider foundational ADOS Black people today that do that. So I will pick someone who is part FBA, part Caribbean, or even if they're not FBA, but they're Caribbean, but their ideology is of foundational Black Americans. I would pick them over some Democrat shell like the Roland Martinez and everyone on his panel. You know what I'm saying? So
I just look at them all. I lump them all the same. I don't separate them. If you can't stand in your Blackness or Black Americanness, in this moment in time, then you cannot speak for me. You cannot be with me, or be a part of our collective, because you can't stand in it. You're already showing you're weak.
And I
So,
said,
you
and,
know,
and
go ahead, Jupiter.
I go a step further because she's right. We'll break this off in two incidents. Let's go in World War II, like when the Germans had family here, but some of their family was still over in Germany in World War II. You need to pick a side. You can't. Yeah, your fatherland is in Germany, but if you want to go fight in World War II, if you're going to fight for the American army, you need to be German American first. It's no in between.
Wait, did some of the Germans that was here went to fight for the
Some
Germans?
some instance they went to the following. You get where I'm coming. It's like there's still German families, and you still have. It's no different. It's just like we'll go to Greek mythology. Okay, well, I hate to bring this up. Zeus had children, Perseus. He was a demigod. He had few. So he even said, like, look, you need to pick a side, either the god side or the human side. You can't do both. You either have a mind of a god or
Why'd you make it that difficult? Why'd you make it that difficult? You could just go to the American Revolution when the British literally had to fight the British.
That too.
Like, right there.
Too.
You know what I'm saying?
Or we could go to Civil War side. You have to pick a side.
Yeah, I mean, civil. Yeah, but I wanted to say there was
No,
something early.
Caribbean blacks are not FBA of the American of the United States. They're not foundational of the United States.
Yeah, and that's the thing, though. If you listen to her, she's trying to conflate the Americas with America. I think that when she's talking about chattel slavery, she's talking about the islands. But in the past, that's what she actually was saying. She was saying that the Americas is America, and no, what happened here in the United States of America is not. And if anybody says this to you, you should feel violated to say that the only difference between us is a boat stop. If the only difference between us was a boat stop, then you would have remained in your country amongst your very own people. You know what I'm saying? And a majority of your own people, predominantly your own people. Here, we was predominantly outnumbered by these other folks. And what happened here was a whole different monster, let alone what transpired. People keep just talking about slavery. They don't talk about Jim Crow. They don't talk about sharecropping. They don't talk about, convict leasing, red laws, peonage, and mass incarceration, and every other policy that was written, and let alone every other place that was shattered and diminished from eminent domain and dropping bombs, such as what happened in Tulsa and even in Philadelphia, the act of warfare and terror. They don't talk about the continuousness of that happening from a different group of people versus living in the islands amongst the majority of their own people, where these other people were minorities, if at some point not even existed there. So what transpired here and what we did here and what we made here definitely begs to create a distinction of this whole boat stop. Our boat stop did not look like your boat stop, and our boats did not look like your boats. And so if you're going to try to belittle us to a boat stop, then we definitely came here on different type of boats, and we definitely came to a different landing place. I wanted to get back on topic though. Is this woman is not any? So there's a part I agree with Consuelo as a person with both freedmen parents all the way through and through, all the way down. No, not one immigrant in my ancestry, right? However, the only part that is like is the qualifier, right? Me personally, if it was up to me, I would say yes. If only way you would be a free man is both parents, but that would also be half true as well, because what about people if she was a person that had an American freedman as a parent, right? Me personally, when I see people like that, the way I treat them is I'm very more skeptical, because if they start speaking a certain way, I know where it's coming from. All right. I know that, you see, that's the other side. For example, their unwillingness to switch parties, right, shows me that as much as you brought it up earlier, Dana, you said, can't people grow? Yes, people can grow. There's a lot of people that have joined the movement that were Pan-African, that are no longer Pan-African. Me not being one of those people. But I've watched it. I've watched people that were stone cold Democrats that are like hell with the Democrats. They became even more boisterous and pissed off about the Democratic Party when we line these things up. But if you are still sworn and still pitching that the Democratic Party is the way, then how much did you grow even though you change your talking points. So she could
Well,
change the
here's the
talking
thing.
points.
Okay, so I hear you, and I do agree with what you're saying. But what she says, she's not a Democrat, she's not a liberal, she's a black nationalist, and I get that. However, outside of after the Jubilee, when I hear her talk, and even probably before that, some of her ideology when it comes to public policy aligns with Democrats. And then she will even go so far as to, kind of support some of their talking points or whatever type of agenda they have. So she says she's not a Democrat. She says she's not a liberal. She's a black nationalist. But I would say this, she's confuses me because I think she's a Democrat. What is saying blackface, like with no
She's like an Angela Davis. That's what you need to watch out for. She's one of those.
Yeah.
And the thing is with the
Yeah.
Worse than
Jubilee,
Angela Davis.
well, you get where I'm coming from. And the thing
Yes.
with the Jubilee, she said the same Democrat. Even when ABL said something to her with the whole makeup with the black family, you cannot dispute that. I don't care if and then with the crime stat. Now I know maybe you guys may be different. We're not all monolith, but the crime stat made it true. Period. Like it's with the girl that said in Chicago. It's the fact. And then with like I said, the breakdown with the family. So I don't know where she's coming from with the whole thing.
But see, to me,
Angela Davis. That sounds like Angela Davis.
I think she ethered every last one of those black conservatives. And I'm sorry, they were a poor representation of black conservatives. They are not the black conservatives of yesteryears, because even the black conservative that was going up against some of the talking points of Malcolm X when they would have those special programs, and the black conservatives back then, they were business owners. They created companies and corporations hiring black people. These black conservatives that we see, they're middle class teetering on lower class. So
I get it, but I'll put it to you like
even let me just say this about that crime, even about that, because I was going to have at one point I was going to say maybe we should talk about the crime for this panel, but that crime thing with the Nigerian black girl from Chicago was talking about that is not crime. Doesn't increase because you have a broken family. Crime increase because of poverty.
It do.
It's a direct correlation.
It do.
It's a direct correlation. Crime decreased because of poverty, and that was the thing I kept forgetting that point. The Malcolm X, where in Lawrence C. Ross's submission to TV One, right? You want to hear something crazy? He literally misrepresented what Malcolm X said. Malcolm X did not say and did not conflate black with Trinidad. And that speech, that was at the Adelphi, that was 1962. And what Malcolm X said was that if a person goes to the South, right, and as long as he speaks another language or he has a turban on his head or he has an accent, that he would not be lynched. He would only be lynched because they think that he's one of us. That was not what Lawrence C. Ross wrote. He tried to make it like Malcolm X was saying that we're all the same under black. No. The only reason why they would be harmed is that they mistake them for one of us. There's a difference. And you have many accounts of people, even today, who have said that they did not get treated terribly by police and law enforcement. And being black is not just about how you get treated by police. Let me just make that clear. But you have people who said that because they had a different name, that they said, oh, I thought you were black. And they literally let them go. They didn't treat them disrespectfully. And there was a Haitian dude who even spoke on this. He said, imagine if I was black. Imagine if I was black, if he thought I was black. So Lawrence, you see, they twist the history, but the history is still there. It was the racial discussion. That's what it was called, like racial discussion. And this was actually the day of Paul Robeson the morning Paul Robeson was announced to have died from being shot in his driveway, and that was in 1962.
Can you send me that clip? Can you find it and send it to me?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's another.
Go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead, ma'am.
Oh, there's another clip of Malcolm X expressing with Farmer, and they're at a round table at Berkeley discussing.
That's the one I was looking for recently as well. Thank you for saying farmers. Yeah.
But
Yes.
it's bringing up Malcolm X. Let's say if she would have talked, and we will say controversial with Farrakhan, he would still utter the same conservative views, bringing two-parent family. Don't be running up on crime and all that stuff. Because wrong is wrong, no matter what color it is. He would utter those kind of same points right then and there. Now everything would probably be pivoting to other stuff, but he would say those same points, and she could not rebuttal what he says. Even if, God rest his soul, Kevin Sims, he would say a two-parent household will bring in more generational wealth than a single-parent household, and that's all he would bring up. But that I'll land my plane with that one.
Good question, Clockwork. Don't Black Americans get treated better in most countries outside the U.S.?
No,
We get treated. We don't.
No.
We get
As long as
treated
that money
as
is there.
American. Yeah, we
could treat American.
Yeah, we don't. They don't see Black Americans, white. No, they see us as Americans, and depending on when you go, South American countries, they will see you as a gringo. So even though that term is for white people, but they see us just as Americans.
I was deployed one time for Africa when I was in the army. I went to Seychelles. The history of Seychelles, a French African missile island, whatever. But they despise us black folks. It's just like they knew off the bat, like they did not like us. Straight up Black Americans, and that's just from my experience.
Because what? They were jealous.
Well, first off, they said, "Well, you're not African." Well, we even said it straight up. Look, no, we're not African.
We're
that
not.
was it. That was that delineation. And I was like, well, I kind of asked one of them. I was like, well, how do you know that I'm not? Well, you could just tell. He's like, well, you have the red man in you. I was like, oh, okay, I know what you mean by the red man.
Oh,
yes,
the Indians, the natives.
Yeah. Well, most of us have Native Americans.
That's what the Africans were saying when you.
Yeah, you can see it just red men, and most of us have Native American and European. But I was like, yes, and it's just they look at us like, yeah, it's basically, even though the countries on the other side, and then I was in Ethiopia and then little parts in Djibouti, they still have that disdain because when they sold, and I've said they sold us out too in the whole slave trade. It's just like that. That's just my opinion, my perspective and my experience. But go ahead.
Yeah, my experience has been very similar to yours, Jay. I've been to different parts of Africa. I've worked in Luanda, Angola for many years. And then also just going to Ghana. I mean, they will say you are white. So when I hear all of these people now on this soil talking about, oh, no, you're African. No, I've been over to Africa, and I know y'all don't even claim we're African. So now you're here on our soil. You're only saying that because you want our position, and you want to make us African
for their cause. They need our support for their cause.
But no, they want us to be African, right? And they are Black. That's how they're flipping it now. They are Black, right? You have the Black conservatives. Supposedly, those were not Black conservatives. Because when we speak about Black conservatives, it's most likely us, not immigrants. So again, that's what I'm saying, how race has been used by the recent arrivals to harm us, because our Black conservatism is not their Black conservatism. So
I want to play this clip here. I found this interesting.
Just happened to
y'all can hear that?
Correct.
Just happened to say, if all African peoples across the globe united to demand reparations from the West, we could end this empire today. I don't know what the fuck it is with this weird ass obsession that Black Americans have with holding ourselves and the fact that we are descendants of slaves over everybody else. But I just want to remind y'all that there are descendants of slaves, African descendants of slaves, all up and down the Americas, baby. As a matter of fact, the majority of enslaved African people didn't even come to these shores. They went to the shores of the Caribbean and South America. People love to uphold Black American resistance as the crown jewel of all African resistance. And let me tell you, okay, we owe a lot of thanks to our brothers and sisters in Haiti and Jamaica, because without them revolting when they did, we would not have been free when we were. The Haitian Revolution literally destabilized the Western Empire that existed in Europe. And the West has never let them fucking forget it, which is why they're in debt right now. While y'all boast about the profitability of Black American culture, our tax dollars are literally being used to bomb children in Somalia. They are being used to work with Kenya so that we can have boots on the ground in Haiti. Your tax dollars are going to AFRICOM that is actively trying to destabilize the Sahel states that are looking for independence from the West right now. So if you think being born on this land makes you more exceptional than other Black people, if you think that being born on this land means that you get to have all of your comforts on the backs of African people all across the world, then congratulations, you've officially been assimilated into the American identity. Pat yourself on the fucking back. If you made it this far into the video, go ahead and comment a middle finger emoji, because fuck America and its exceptionalism, bitch.
But this is what I don't understand with these young people. Yes, she's weird. They're weird. They're weird and ignorant, and they don't know anything about history because
The American Revolution was first before we honestly, truthfully, this is that she doesn't have a history lesson. We kicked off the revolution here first before they even
Crispus
started.
Attucks. That's all you gotta say.
Yeah, Crispus Attucks. And then the shot heard around the world in Lexington. We kicked the whole thing off. And like we were the one doing, and they just, the only thing is with the Haitian Revolution, they sold off the Louisiana Purpose
the French, the French had to sell us the Louisiana
so they
Purchase.
can pay it. So
Yeah,
they can pay it off.
They just broke France temporarily, and
temporarily.
then they end up signing some type of document saying that they owe France millions and millions of dollars.
They held. First of all, the Haitian Revolution is that's what they call it. But what happened and what they did to what's his name?
I can't think of his French name.
Toussaint Louverture. Toussaint Louverture died in a French dungeon. Like, first of all, he died in a French dungeon. Number two is what people like to leave out there is that Haitian and in the Caribbean was majority of the enslaved group of people. It was actually like literally it was small. No, in fact, the people, the overseers were actually other Haitians.
Yeah,
in Haiti.
yes.
It was other,
independence. Yeah.
So when they talk about what transpired, and they say that we influenced this, no, that's what some historians have tried to do, because at that time they were trying to get people over here, right? What were they doing during Harlem Renaissance? They were trying to get they even tried to get Asians into this country to be in our support, to get behind us. Like, so all of this was transpiring during a period of time where we were looking for reinforcements. We were looking for other people to fastly grow our population at a faster rate, so we can have more power politically and for militarized groups. But also, I want to say this: you had the Stoner Rebellion, you had the conspiracy that occurred, and this is all before American Revolution. In New York, you had the New York Conspiracy. The people don't know about the New York Conspiracy happened before the American Revolution. There were rebellions that are undocumented, and and this is what is well known by historians. There were over 100 rebellions before the Civil War alone. To make it like to make it out to like, the Civil War was the only thing. The Civil War, first of all, we wasn't freed prior to the Civil War. The Emancipation Proclamation happened during the Civil War. And it wasn't even for just the North, it was for the South. Abraham Lincoln wrote it for the South. So people keep making this whole thing that like, whites freed us, and then you hear like this nonsense that, the Civil War was fought for us. And
no, because it was over 100,000 Black men who
led it.
escaped slavery, and those who were already free that joined the Union to fight in the Civil War.
I have a document. I have a document where you have over hundreds of slave owners in America writing to the government, asking them what should they do, because their slaves are literally leaving and grabbing arms and joining the war.
Well,
and this is before the Emancipation Proclamation. So,
well, being from Virginia, but my thing is, basically Lincoln did. I'll look at it from a historic. It was right and wrong, but it was basically to break the South back economically. It's just period.
And it's no different. It's no different than what the Crown did, and then what George Washington followed up and did. The American Revolution, the Crown promised freedom, and they freed the slaves. And for anybody who fought for the Crown, they were considered free. And George Washington offered freedom as well. And by the way, there was already free blacks before that as well. But we're not going to get into that.
Yeah, we'll get that. Yeah, free. But going back to that young lady's point, I'm like, if we're going to talk about, and I'm kind of going to be kind of sinister about saying this. I'm like, we're going to go talk about reparations, and I'll go ask this young lady, okay, let me get my blood, trace my blood to a tribal leader all the way to the continent of Africa. Like, okay, hey, before I ask these people here in this country, I'm gonna go all to the continent of Africa and be like, look, where's that land at that I got sold off? Somebody did, and I'm gonna go ask for that land. And they're like, hey, that's my land, and then we'll come back here and then we'll keep asking. That's just how I would do it.
The problem has to be nipped in the bud at the beginning. This right here is a prime example why people started speaking. See, because when the conversations first started, we were specifically talking about immigration policy, and it was people like this that had sit.
What guess what
happened?
I see you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that Dana.
I ain't do nothing else. You.
Hey,
so you sort of roll sentiments of what?
So they came out with their voice boxes saying stuff like this with their flags in the background. They used to have the flags in the bios, and in person when you have this conversation, they make statements like, "Hey, you know what it follows up with? It comes down to when you start laying out the facts. You don't have no culture. This isn't your homeland. You have no power, etc., etc., etc." And that completely diminishes and wipes away the entire history and the facts that actually remain. Is that if anybody influenced rebellions, it would be Black Americans. It would be Black Americans. And that's why we influence the world today. You know why? Because we're in a predominant white society, right? A predominant white society, yet we're still making and shaking and baking things that never would have existed. We manifest things. And that's the spirit that everybody's carrying. Her making these statements, trying to flip the script, is nothing but it should be. Everybody should feel offended hearing that.
Well, before I go to Consuelo, let me just say this, because she did say, I don't know why Black Americans think that they're basically the shit because they were born in, like, because we're foundational. But we are an exception. We are exceptional. I do take pride in that. We do have a leverage over not just Black immigrants, but every immigrants throughout the world, because everybody wants to come here to America. But go ahead, Consuelo.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight with the history lesson that it's stated. President Lincoln stated it himself. He had to free the slaves, and so he could win the war. So they needed us to save the Union, to save America. So, when people try to come in and say that the white man freed us, no, we freed ourselves, right? We fought because we know this is our country and we are the patriots of this land. And I'm highly offended that people want to take that away from us, right? Because America would not be America without us, period. And we know right now, America's regressing with all the immigration. They're saying there's 55 million people here on visas. That's a lot of people receiving resources unjustly, being enriched via us on this soil, and then telling us that we're not worthy of receiving repair or having been enriched ourselves via the luxury that we are providing for everyone else. Highly offended with her. She has a Jamaican flag in the back. So who is she representing? She's definitely not representing Black American freedmen. So
I want to play one more video before we get up out of here. And guys, please like this video and share this video on all your social media outlets. And I did drop the link. If anybody want to come up, you don't have to show your face. Drew, but I gotta invite you more often.
Yeah, no problem. Well, I'm just showing.
I mean, I know it's Friday. Friday is like people just want to take it down, have a little cocktail, get ready for the weekend, and decompress. All right, so um, I know I keep forgetting his name, but I
Oh, Rob Thomas. I know he's pretty cool, but sometimes he's off the wall. But I wish he was at the table with the headband.
yes, they should have had him.
Boy,
Yes,
he
yes, yes.
and even Candace. I know. See, you said Candace Owens could be a broken clock. What is it? Twice out of a day. If she would have been there, it'd have been funny. But he's pretty good right there.
Right.
Rob,
So I'm gonna play.
Smith.
I want to play his clip because he's actually on the side of Foundation of Black Americans.
All right, can somebody please tell me why these Africans have so many ideas about how to fix Black America and how to fix America, but they can't even fix their own countries? They can't even fix Angola. They can't even fix Ghana. They can't fix Nigeria. They can't fix Jamaica. They can't fix Haiti. God knows they can't fix Haiti because that has been a hot mess for generations. But yet, they come here and they have all these ideas about what America should do for Black people and how America has failed and how America should be fixed and how Trump is bad and how Republicans are bad and how what Black Americans need to do. I will tell you this, Africans, please go fix your own countries. Please take all of this energy and all of these ideas to your countries. Take them to Haiti because Haiti's a hot mess. Take it to Nigeria, because I know what's going on in Nigeria. Take it to Angola, take it to Ghana, take it to Jamaica, take it to all of these different places, but you don't want to do that. Instead, you want to come over here, insert yourself into Black American issues, and by the way, use everything that we have fought for and built for to go insert yourself into places, but that quite frankly you have not earned. All right. So the message from this Black American, and my family has been here for generations, baby. I'm not some African. I'm a Black American. And so my advice to you is go fix your own countries before you come tell us about our issues.
Message.
I agree.
He said something about the Essence Festival too. One time, he was on point.
Well, that's what we've been saying, right? The grassroots. That's the same message.
But see, here's the thing, because he is a Republican, but he's a foundational Black American. The Republicans who are Black immigrants or second generation of Black immigrants, it's a difference even with that. Yes,
They're
you are
opportunists.
conservative. Right, because ABL, he's foundational.
Yes, he is. He said he traced his lineage all the way to like the late 1700s. I'll put it like this: if your lineage doesn't go to the early 1800s, I don't even want to hear it.
And so when I could have a dialogue, a respectful dialogue back and forth, with ABL or I keep forgetting with this guy here, because they may not agree with reparations, or they may have the certain aspects of what Black on Black crime, but they've been here since the beginning, as opposed to a Nigerian or a Black immigrant, whether they were born here first generation or just came here from Angola with their parents. You have not educated yourself on Black history or American history. You come here just to build up your own personal economic mobility, and you send that money back to whatever said country. So, and then you also have the support of that country, because Amanda Seales, just real quick, after she was on Jubilee and she was on her YouTube, she interviewed this young Black Harvard student, and I think her background was Nigerian. However, smart Black woman. She again, she would be considered an ally, but she kind of exposed something about Harvard to where, yes, they want more Black students, but they will pick a Black African, like from Nigeria, whatever, a Black immigrant, especially from Nigeria, over a foundational Black American. And she was like, that's just not right. And she said, yes, you have Black social clubs, but it's separate. There's not a Black American social club, but the Nigerians have their own social club, and they don't want to be associated with Black Americans on Harvard campus. So again, this is why we do, Consuelo, like you said, disassociate ourselves from them, because mentally, their ideology, first of all, they're colonized themselves. but mentally they don't have anywhere close to having a foundational Black American conscience on any type of level.
And that's because they don't have the experience. We're having a different human experience. And I'm highly offended that they come here and try to speak as if they are us. And again, the race is damaging, it's harmful, and it's injurious to us, because people will say that a Joanne Reed is us, and she's not. And they don't even make sure they highlight that. No, you know what, like even Byron Donalds, that whole question about Jim Crow, for him to even answer that question, and instead of saying, I am a first generation immigrant, I don't have any ancestors that experienced Jim Crow to even speak on this. You will have to defer this question to someone that is a Black American. They don't do that. And that in itself, to me, is lying. And you're showing me that you're disingenuous and that you're identity theft, identity fraud. That's what I'm calling it now, because you don't have the history to be here to speak on certain things, and you should just state that. Because we know white immigrants, they will say, hey, I'm Irish, I'm Italian, I'm da 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 da. I didn't experience this, but we see the Black or so-called Black immigrants not stating these things and acting as if they've been here and they're part of our lineage.
Right. Well, thank you guys for joining this discussion. I think this is really good. This is very fruitful. A good discussion. Consuelo, Ms. Jupiter.
I'll be sending you a video pretty soon what Roland Martin said today. I just gotta kind of timestamp it a little bit. But.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that, Jupiter. FBAs were freed from slavery twice in the U.S. Yeah, thank you, Ghost Rider. Caribbeans Black FBA of the American. That should sound confusing. Yes. So I'm just acknowledging. Thank you for the super chats. Appreciate you guys. Again, share this video, like this video, and make sure you guys comment below in the comment section and your thoughts about the different topics that we talked about and that hit piece. Listen, this is just the first hit piece. We got what, 13, 14 more months before the midterms? Oh, it's about to get ugly. I'm gonna have a whole lot of content.
But what about the Supreme Court coming in October on the ruling of the 14th Amendment? That's gonna
be that's right. That's coming this fall.
Yes.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about.
Well, and see, the thing is, and we with the elite, and everyone knows, like even Trump, and like I said, Trump, love or hate Trump, Trump was right. The 14th Amendment dealt specifically for FBAs. Period. It doesn't have nothing to do. Illegals have nothing to do with that. That 13th and 14th Amendment is basically for us right there. Now, yes, it deals with some Spanish folks when we took over Texas and California. It was by technicality. The border found y'all. You guys were on the other side. But the thing is, the 13th and 14th Amendment is us. But you got these Democratic shills like Proley and saying, "Oh well, blacks can get deported." Where the hell can we get deported to? What? Maybe back to Virginia or certain part of the. That's just my thing.
Ms. Honey, I want the Hollywood lights and I want the Hollywood camera next time. Next week, I'm supposed to have a debate with Naeem and someone from Secure the Tribe. So, because it was supposed to be this Friday, but he had to postpone it. So he said next week. So that should be good. So make sure y'all come back here. But Men's Honey and Consuelo, I need bright lights. But Men's, I want the Hollywood lights and camera. I don't want to see you on somebody else's panel and you looking crisp. Are you muted? We can't hear you.
Yeah, I was muted. I was actually sending you that clip from Malcolm X because I like to stand behind everything.
Now, somebody asked for your social media handles. Now, Consuelo is banned on X, so create you a new account so I could promote it here. Men's, send me yours, and I'm gonna put Men's in the comment section.
It's up there on there at Love Black America, BLK, Love BLK America. It's up there on the
Oh, right
There you
here.
go.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right, I'll
yeah, yeah.
create another account. Y'all will not let me leave X.
Why
Yeah,
would
yeah.
you? Why would you want to leave X? And Jupiter is a civilian, so thank you, Jupiter. He sends me clips and stuff, so you will not be getting his social media handles unless he wants to
Oh,
give it out. But
no, I'll put it to this.
I have
I just want to keep incognito. Just shoot. Go ahead, sir.
I have a question that I have a question for, like, that woman is still like under my skin, but I have a question, and
which
this is what I would have
one?
asked her. The woman with the Jamaican flag in the background, right? We've this is nothing new, but it always gets under my skin because if you're really a historian, then statements like what she's made will really dig deep. They really bother you because it's inaccurate and it's misinformation. One thing that most historians hate the most is misinformation. And the question I always will ask, and I always ask them and cause them to, start cursing and everything, is what part of Black American history includes anything of Haitian, Jamaican, Trinidadian, Nigerian, or anything else history other than the benign sabotage that they have all played in different parts of our history. What benefits has anybody from any of these places from the beginning to the end as we know it played in Black American history? What benefits? And that's what really bothers me, is like, you're here as a people that have done nothing. Why didn't you bring? I wish you spoke about SEALs. Winston, what's her name? A Jamaican out there in Carolina.
Winsome
Winston
Sears.
Sears.
Winston Sears.
He's running for governor in Virginia.
You didn't talk about that woman. She literally told us that we need to forget about our past and move forward. We need to forget
Well,
about.
I mean, look at, but there are Black people who's voting her in. So, you know what? Maybe I'll do like a piece on that. But I really need to end this space because I pulled my lower back muscle on my right side,
Black
All right, no
muscle.
worries.
and
That
it's
is
now it's like I'm trying to like sit a certain way to be comfortable, but then it's like, okay, I can't move, and I need to put some heat and something on it, and
no, not heat, ice. You know,
I want some
ice.
heat first. I want some heat and some Motrin, and then I'll ice it afterwards. Like
To
do it.
loosen it up. Is that
Yeah,
what you're saying?
You
right.
gotta use. You gotta flush out the
I'm getting
inflammation.
older. I
You
don't.
gotta flush out the inflammation. Now the inflammation. It's inflammation. Use ice. Rest, ice, compress,
Yeah,
elevate.
yeah. I want some heat first, though. Heat, then the ice. I do contrast bathing, but I need some heat first to soothe it out. I need some
Yeah.
comfort. But thank you guys. I appreciate you guys coming on. Definitely gonna have you on again.
All
And
right,
get
peace.
that X space, Consuelo.
Okay, and I'll watch the debate next week. I want to hear.
Yes. But start you a new X
Who from
account, and then
FBA? Who's it? Booby
send
or
it
Mel?
to promote it on here as well and stuff. So
Yes, I will.
all right.
You said it's someone from Secure the Tribe?
I don't know. I think he
Or
is.
is it
I'm not sure
FBA?
yet, but it's someone debating Naeem, but we'll talk about that later on. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Mins. Appreciate Happy birthday, Mins.
Happy birthday, Mins.
Yes.
All
Thank you
right.
so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dana.
I'm not 40 yet, by the way. I'm not 40.
Oh, okay. Somebody said Dana with the back pain. Thank you guys. I gotta do where's my outro? Yeah, I don't want to say I'm getting old, but I guess I am getting old. I don't know. I need to stretch, and I don't stretch, and I wasn't stretching. I was just stretching the wrong way. Yes, ibuprofen. I need some Motrin, some Advil. The Advil is for my headaches. I need the Motrin for the aches. Yeah. All right, guys, listen. Thank you so much. Great panel tonight. Great conversation. Great topics. Great audience chats. Everyone sending donations. Love you. And I will see you live on Monday. But make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the bell button to get all notifications. Bye.